Greetings, Dr. Mark Winton here from the Department of Criminal Justice at the University of Central Florida. And what I'd like to do in this video is present two case studies that I use in other presentations and lectures. And these are two cases from the Bosnian genocide. These are two individuals who ended up in court, part of the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, and they were both found guilty of crimes and were put in prison for a period of time. And so I'm going to present these cases, Duško Tadić and Dražen Ademović. To give you just a brief background, Duško Tadić claimed that he was innocent and did not engage in any violent behavior. He was convicted of crimes related to murder, torture, rape, and slavery, and he also was in a leadership role. Dražen Ademović admitted his guilt for the crimes and explained how he got into the situation and how he thought and felt about his violent action. He was in a follower role. So I'll present Tadić first and then Ademović. So let's look at Tadić. And I'm basing this on information that I obtained primarily from the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, and the online section just has a wealth of information about the trials, the transcripts, the verdicts, all that. You can get some face sheets that have basically brief history of the case, the judgments, and so on. But let's focus on what we have from these court hearings. Tadić was the president of the local board of the Serb Democratic Party and a police officer. He was convicted of murder, torture, or inhumane treatment, and willfully causing great suffering or serious injury to body or health. He participated in the collection and transfer of citizens to concentration camps, and according to the court documents, tortured, raped, and killed citizens. He was sentenced to 20 years imprisonment. He pled not guilty to all of the charges. It was reported that his family had been victimized during World War II, and that during the conflict in Bosnia, he became more nationalized, displayed communication that indicated hatred toward other groups, and presented symbols of power and control. He also displayed characteristics of hypermasculinity, and it is reported that he became more religious during the conflict. So we're talking about the conflict in the 1990s. Let's look at some witness reports. And this is from the court documents. These are witness reports from the Omarska prison. The environment had become a malignant community characterized by chaos and ultra-violent behavior. There are reports of beatings with iron bars, covering prisoners with oil, forced sexual violence, forcing prisoners to eat live animals, humiliation, and killing. One witness described the group torture as if it was a football game. So these are my impressions I'm getting from reading the court documents. Here's a quote from a witness that reported a prisoner being cut by the accused with a knife. Quote, sliced as if once one slices chops, end of quote. And having black liquid, probably oil, poured over him. At this point, this witness lost consciousness. And that's from Prosecutor versus Duško Tadić, 1997, paragraph 225. According to the court documents, Tadić cut victims with a knife, beat them with batons, discharged a fire extinguisher into the mouth of a victim, participated in group rapes and sexual mutilation of male prisoners. Tadich also physically took part or otherwise participated in the torture of more than 12 female detainees, including several gang rapes, which occurred both in the camp and at a White House adjacent to the camp. That's from Prosecutor versus Dusko Tadic, 1997, paragraph 452. Now, if we look at Erdemovich, Drazen Erdemovich was a soldier in the Bosnian Serb army. He participated as a member of a firing squad responsible for killing hundreds of Bosnian Muslim citizens. He is reported to have killed approximately 70 people. At his initial appearance, he pled guilty. He was then referred for psychiatric and psychological evaluation. He was reported to have post-traumatic stress disorder that precluded him from standing trial. Later, he continued with his guilty plea. And this is from the Prosecutor versus Drazen Erdemovich, 1998, paragraph 5. Erdemovich admitted to his crimes and assisted the court with other cases. Mitigating factors were addressed by the court. He was described as a pacifist with no criminal record who joined the military to feed his family. He reported that he tried to avoid killing others, and there's evidence that he tried to save people from death. He also had multi-ethnic friends and did not demonstrate nationalistic beliefs. He cooperated with the court and showed remorse for his crimes. The kill or be killed theme comes up several times in these court transcripts. Looking at what Erdemovich reported, and that he committed the killings under the threat of death, to quote Erdemovich, "Your Honor, I had to do this. If I had refused, I would have been killed together with the victims. When I refused, they told me, if you are sorry for them, stand up, line up with them, and we will kill you too. I am not sorry for myself, but for my family, my wife and son, who then had 9 months, and I could not refuse because they would have killed me." End of quote. That's from Prosecutor versus Drazen Erdemovich, 1998, paragraph 14. The perpetrator showed remorse for his violent behavior, and again, the accused told the trial chamber that, quote, "I only wish to say that I feel sorry for all the victims, not only for the ones who were killed then at the farm. I feel sorry for all the victims in the former Bosnia and Herzegovina, regardless of their nationality." End of quote. From Prosecutor versus Drazen Erdemovich, 1998, paragraph 16. Next, I completed a table where I compared them, Tadich and Erdemovich, on numerous variables. Now, I've used this study in a variety of different exercises for different purposes. One was to compare and contrast Tadich and Erdemovich when applying Lonnie Athens' violentization theory. Now, I'm not going to do this in this video, but I just wanted to mention that's one of the scenarios, and what we see is that that basically Tadich would reach the 5th stage, the violent predation stage. In contrast, Erdemovich reaches the 3rd stage, violent dominance engagements. And then I looked at a bunch of other factors as well and kind of summarized what we already discussed in my own work, looking at different factors. And then in another exercise, one that I've conducted in the classroom and also in professional presentations in the community, I used Dr. Michael Wellner's Depravity scale and had either the students and or the attendees in the conference rate the evilness of the crimes committed by Tadich and Erdemovich. So hopefully this gave you just a very brief overview. And again, You know, I've added more cases as I've progressed with my research, and specifically focusing on violentization theory. And this wraps up this video.